Here's how to get attuned to Tempest Keep, also known as the Eye, in the Burning Crusade. Starting things off, you'll need to be level 70 in order to complete this attunement. However, you can start the quest chain at level 68. You also need the following heroics unlocked: Cenarian Expedition, the Shatar, Lower City, Honor Hold for Alliance, and Thrallmar for Horde. And just a fair warning, this is one of the longest attunements in the game, so be ready to spend several hours to complete this, or even several different play sessions. To start this quest chain, we're going to head to Shadowmoon Valley. Both Alliance and Horde will pick up the quest, the Hand of Gul'dan. Horde players will head to Shadowmoon Village and speak with Earthmender Splinthoof, and Alliance players will go to Wildhammer Stronghold and speak with Earthmender Sulfuras. Once you have the Hand of Gul'dan, head to the Altar of Damnation and speak with Earthmender Torlock. We're now going to go through a series of 3 different quests, which are all pretty much the same. It is going to be called Enraged Spirits of Fire and Earth, followed by Spirits of Water, and then finally Spirits of Air. To collect souls, simply drop the totem and defeat elementals nearby. Once you have 8 of each, you can complete this quest and get the next follow-up. Keep in mind you can get credit for capturing a soul, even if it's not your tag. Once you've collected 8 earthen and 8 fiery souls, head back to turn the quest in and get the follow-up, Enraged Spirits of Water. Essentially doing the same thing at the location shown on screen, dropping the totem and collecting 5 watery souls. After, we'll head back and pick up the next follow-up, Enraged Spirits of Air. Again, doing the exact same thing, dropping the totem and capturing 10 airy souls. Next, we'll pick up the follow-up, Aronic Torn Heart. We're going to simply head to the location shown on screen and speak with Aronic to turn in the quest. After pick up the follow-up quest, I Was a Lot of Things. For this quest, we're going to recover 10 Shadowmoon tubers from the Shattered Plain. Simply use the whistle near one of the Shadowmoon tubers, as shown on screen, and try to be close to one of the domesticated Felboars so that they can dig this up. Right-click to pick this up, and then repeat the process. Keep in mind the flayers will attack them, so try to kill the flayers if you can to protect as many of the boars, as this will speed the process up. Head back to Aronic to complete the quest, and you'll receive a nice little food buff. Next, we'll pick up the follow-up, A Lesson Learned. Head back to the Shattered Plains, and we're going to need to destroy 10 Ravenous Flare Eggs. Pretty simple, just right-click to destroy the Flare Eggs. Heading back to Aronic to complete our quest, we're going to get the follow-up, The Cipher of Damnation, Truth and History. Once accepted, speak with Aronic again and select the dialogue option, I am ready to hear your story. After, continue going through the dialogue options to complete this quest. Next, we're going to pick up all 3 of the Son of Aronic quests. The order you do this in really doesn't matter, I just did what worked best for me. We're going to first start with Grom Tor, Son of Aronic. You'll find them at this location shown on screen. And then we'll go to the first quest, the Cipher of Damnation, Grom Tor's Charge. For this quest, we're going to defeat the Coilscar Waterkeepers, Defenders, and Sirens, and loot them for the Coilscar chest key. Once you've looted a key, locate one of the many Coilscar chests in the same area. Right-click to loot this for the first fragment of the Cipher of Damnation. Keep in mind you might have to do this multiple times. I was lucky enough to only have to open 2 or 3 chests. Once you've looted the first fragment, head back to Gromtar to complete your quest and pick up the follow-up, The First Fragment Recovered. We have now completed one of the 3 Son of Aronic questlines. From here, you can head back to Aronic to complete this quest, but we're going to save that for later once we've completed all 3. Next, we're going to head south to Illidari Point to speak with Artor, the next Son of Aronic. Artor will be suspended in the air by red beams. Speak with them and pick up the quest, Demonic Crystal Prisons. You're going to seek out and slay Pain Mistress Gabrisa. Defeat and loot them for the Crystalline Key. Heading back to Artor to complete the quest, pick up the follow-up from the Spirit of Artor, Lone Garan, Bow of the Torn Heart. Once accepted, defeat any of the Illidari enemies within the area to loot them for the bow. After you've looted the bow, head back to Artor's Spirit to complete your quest and pick up the follow-up, the Cipher of Damnation, Artor's Charge. We'll need to head south and defeat Veneratus the Many. You'll be granted a Spirit Hunter which will help you with this task. Be careful as the Spirit Hunter can pull additional mobs if you are to walk them through it. Be sure to loot Veneratus to pick up the second fragment of the Cipher of Damnation. Head back to the Spirit of Artor to complete our quest and pick up the follow-up, the Cipher of Damnation, the second fragment recovered. We have now completed 2 out of the 3 Son of Aronic questlines. And now for the last Son of Aronic questline, we're going to head east over to Boric. They're located just north of Eclipse Point. We're going to speak with them, completing the quest and picking up the follow-up of Thistle Heads and Eggs. Head over to the location shown on screen to loot a rotten Arakoa egg. Bring some food along with you as this quest can be very frustrating, as whenever you do not loot the quest item, you will get a disease that does a damage over time effect. Continue looting the rotten eggs until you loot the rotten Arakoa egg. Once we've looted the egg, we're going to head to Shattrath City and speak with Tobias the Filth Gorger. You'll find them at this location shown on screen. Turn in the quest and you will get a short RP event. Afterwards, we can pick up the follow-up, the Bundle of Blood Thistle. Head back to Shadowmoon Valley and speak with Boric to turn in the quest. Next, we'll pick up the follow-up to catch a Thistlehead. Head to the end of the bridge and place the Bundle of Blood Thistle. Eventually, all the enemies will disappear except for Envoy Icarus. Wait for them to go over and loot the Blood Thistle. Next, we'll defeat and loot them for the Stormrage Missive. Turning this back into Boric, we'll pick up the follow-up quest, the Shadowmoon Shuffle. We'll need to loot 6 Eclipsean armor. You'll do this by defeating any of the Eclipsean named NPCs in this area. Once you've looted the 6 armors, head back to Boric to turn in the quest and pick up the follow-up, What Illidan Wants, Illidan Gets. Head to the location shown on screen and then use the Blood Elf disguise. After, speak with Grand Commander Rusk and go through all of the dialogue options. If you mess this up, you can always head back to Boric to pick up another disguise. Once we've completed the quest, head back to Boric to turn in the quest and pick up the follow-up, the Cipher of Damnation, Boric's Charge. This is a group quest which requires you to defeat Rule the Darkener. If you're having trouble locating them, they will land exactly at this location shown on screen. Ideally, having a tank and a healer is going to make this a lot easier. Not super difficult, but after defeating Rule, be sure to loot them for the 3rd fragment of the Cipher of Damnation. Head back to Boric to complete your quest and pick up the follow-up, the 3rd fragment recovered. Now we've completed all 3 of the Son of Aronix quest, we're going to head back to Aronix Farm to turn in all 3 of them. Once you've turned in all 3 quests, you will get the follow-up, the Cipher of Damnation. For this quest, we will need to defeat Cyrek the Firelord. I recommend having a tank and healer to do this, but as always, the bigger the group, the easier this is going to be. Once you're ready, click the Cipher of Damnation and this will summon Cyrek the Firelord. Nothing too crazy to worry about here. Just try not to drag the NPC too far away from the Sons of Aronix, as the quest NPC can bug out and completely despawn. After, we'll head back to Torlock to complete our quest. Next, we'll head to Shattrath City to speak with Khadgar to pick up the quest, the Tempest Key. Turn to the quest right next to Khadgar by speaking to a doll. We'll now be on the 3 trials of the Naru: Mercy, Strength, and Tenacity. This is the part where you will need to have the 4 heroics unlocked. To keep this part short and sweet, you're essentially just clearing 4 different heroics: Shattered Halls, Steam Vaults, Shadow Labyrinth, and finally the Arcatraz. If you don't have these heroics unlocked, you'll need to do so in order to proceed. Starting off, we're going to head into Steam Vaults and defeat the final boss, Warlord Kalithresh, and loot them for their trident. Next, we'll head into Shadow Labyrinth, defeating the final boss, Murmur, and looting them for Murmur's essence. Next, we have the Shattered Halls heroic. This one is going to be a time instance, so you'll need to clear this as quickly as possible. You'll need to reach the Shattered Hand Executioner before he executes the prisoners. My suggestion is to bring a Paladin tank and either a Mage or Warlock. Clear slow and steady, and you should have plenty enough time to complete this. Make sure to loot the Executioner for the unused Axe of the Executioner. This item is required for the quest. Lastly, we'll head into the Arcatraz to defeat the final boss, Harbinger Skyrus. During this encounter, it's important to save Millhouse Manastorm. If Millhouse Manastorm is to die during the encounter, be sure to reset, ensuring that you can save him to get credit for the final trial of the Naru. Some tips for this fight is having a hunter drop Snake Trap. This can help tremendously, allowing the snakes to eat some of the Mind Flays. This boss fight really comes down to having enough health. If a healer gets Mind Flayed and they don't have enough health, it can just be GG. After completing all 3 trials of the Naru, Mercy, Strength, and finally Tenacity, we can pick up the final follow-up, the Trial of the Naru, Magtheridon. All you need to do is kill Magtheridon and return to Adal in Shattrath City to complete your quest. Adal will give you the Phoenix Fireband and the Tempest Key. Congratulations, you are now attuned to the Tempest Keep. Once you have the Tempest Key, you are officially attuned to the raid, but if you're not sure, you can copy and paste this command in-game to get a true or false response. True meaning you've completed the quest, and false meaning you have not completed the quest. If you need help with any of your other attunements, I will leave those videos in the description down below. As always, if you have any questions, be sure to leave those in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos just like this one, and I'll see you next time.